Hey guys! So in the first half of 2022, more than 38 million new passenger cars and light commercial vehicles were sold worldwide. Despite the fact that this figure decreased by 12% compared to the same period last year, the need to transport cars to different parts of our planet hasn't yet disappeared, and it is unlikely to disappear in the near future. There are several different ways to transport a car: by train, by air, by a tractor unit equipped with an open trailer. But the most popular and cheapest way is to ship a car by water, in a container, for example. However, most new cars are transported on roll-on, roll-off, or RoRo ships, designed to carry wheeled cargo. This fascinating method of transporting cars is what we're going to talk about in today's video, as well as the dangers that RoRo ships face. A RoRo vessel is a ship that allows for horizontal loading and unloading. This is done through a cargo ramp or a gangway extending from the ship's side to the dock. Ramps can be located on the sides, bow, or stern of the ship, but the third option is most commonly used. The first option is more versatile because it allows the RoRo vessel to dock and unload at any port. To put it simply, while a regular ship requires a crane to load large cargo, with a RoRo vessel, the cargo can be driven onto the ship instead. There are several variations of RoRo ships. The first one is pure car carriers, which are also divided into two types: those that only transport passenger cars, and those that can carry all types of vehicles. The second type is conro, which is a hybrid of a RoRo and a container ship. In this case, cars are stored on the lower decks, while containers with other cargo are placed on the upper decks. The third type is military vessels. They are designed for transporting military cargo, such as tank landing ships. The fourth type is RoPax, which can carry passengers as well as cargo. Technically, this includes all ferries equipped with a car deck, as well as a place for passengers. Such ships are often referred to as cruise ferries. RoRo ships have a long history that predates the advent of automobiles. In the 19th century, ferries for transporting railway wagons emerged in Great Britain. The ideal design for that time was proposed by the civil engineer Thomas Bush. A ferry equipped with a roll-on, roll-off mechanism was built by his design. Those ships were custom-made. Adjustable ramps were installed to compensate for the changing tides in the harbors where they arrived. The height of the structure could be adjusted using a slipway, while the wagons were loaded and unloaded using stationary steam engines. The rail ferry service became a real lifesaver during the First World War. Weapons and military equipment were promptly delivered from Great Britain to France through the English Channel, allowing for a tremendous amount of human labor to be saved. By the time of the Second World War, ships specifically designed for transporting tanks, armored personnel carriers, and other crucial war equipment appeared. The first ship of this kind was the HMS Boxer, designed by a rough sketch made by Churchill himself and commissioned in 1941. A larger version of the ship, capable of making crossings not only across the English Channel and the Mediterranean Sea, but also the Atlantic, was later jointly developed by specialists from the United Kingdom and the United States. Several entrepreneurs expressed interest in the creation when they saw its commercial potential. The most important of them was Lieutenant Colonel Frank Bustard, who managed the Atlantic Steamship Company at the time. In 1946, the British government leased 3 ships to this company. One of the ships made its first commercial voyage with 64 cars on board. Soon, regular routes were established, connecting Great Britain and Ireland with mainland Europe. In 1953, 2 berths for RoRo vessels were launched at the port of Dover. Before then, approximately 10,000 cars left the port each year, but afterwards, the number increased to 100,000 within just 1 year. In the 1970s and 1980s, the RoRo fleet began to expand rapidly as companies recognized its evident advantages. Today, RoRo ships are real giants. The largest among them can transport thousands of cars. For example, the New Horizon class car carriers owned by the Norwegian shipping company Hoeg Anleiters A total of 6 such ships have been built, and they are the largest pure car carriers sailing the seas. Let's take a closer look at the series using the example of the New Horizon Hoeg Trapper, which was launched from a shipyard in China in 2016. This 200-meter-long vessel has a deck area of 71,400 square meters, which is comparable to 10 football fields. It isn't surprising considering that it has 14 cargo decks, 5 of which are liftable. It may seem incredible, but the ship can accommodate up to 8,500 passenger cars. Essentially, it is a huge, floating, multi-level garage. Access to the decks is provided through a lifting system of internal ramps, allowing for efficient use of cargo space. Access to the ship is provided by a stern ramp that is 12 meters wide and has a load capacity of 375 tons, while the opening has a height of 6.5 meters, which easily accommodates large vehicles. Common tractor units, for example, do not typically exceed 4 meters in height. There is also a wide ramp with a load capacity of 22 tons. The design and specifications of the ship were developed to increase efficiency and reduce environmental impact. Because of the optimization of the hull shape, the Hoeg Trapper emits half the amount of CO2 per transported unit as compared to conventional car carrier ships. Vessels of the New Horizon series are true stars in the world of RoRo ships and transport hundreds of thousands of cars worldwide every year. An undeniable advantage of RoRo ships is the ability to load cargo without the use of specialized equipment, meaning that the cargo can be driven onto the ship by the driver. Moreover, there's also an option of placing any oversized cargo on a trailer and loading it onto the vessel, unlike container shipping, which has standardized container sizes. The loading of vehicles is carried out in a specific order and to designated zones depending on the type of vehicle and the destination point. Once the loading is completed, all wheeled cargo is secured to the deck using transport belts until arrival at the destination. This is a crucial aspect, as cargo shifting was one of the main causes of maritime incidents involving RoRo vessels. Commercial RoRo vessels have always been successful due to their flexibility, integration, and operational speed. However, despite their commercial success, they have always faced criticism. Modern RoRo vessels are easily recognizable due to their high sides and lack of portholes. These giants may appear unsinkable, but that is not entirely true. The large surface area of the walls poses a problem in strong winds, but a more significant issue arises from the large cargo openings in the hull, which create potential risks for the ship's watertight integrity. Even a small leak can pose a serious problem due to the absence of transverse bulkheads on cargo decks. The freely moving water can cause critical changes in stability. Furthermore, overloading or poorly secured cargo can also lead to significant issues. On September 8, 2019, the cargo vessel MV Golden Ray, a 200-meter-long RoRo ship, departed from the port of Brunswick in the state of Georgia, USA. It was later discovered that the RoRo ship was carrying 4,200 vehicles and was heavily overloaded. It ran aground and capsized. All 24 people on board were rescued, but the same couldn't be said for the cars. Evacuating the ship was deemed impossible, so it was decided to dismantle it using a giant chainsaw, along with the cars, most of which were Hyundai and Kia vehicles. The RoRo ship was divided into 8 large sections, weighing between 2,700 and 4,100 tons. Initially, the plan was to load them onto barges, take them out to the ocean, and sink them, creating artificial reefs. However, it was later decided to dispose of all the ship sections together with the cars. The best help in this challenging operation was the ship-lifting vessel Versabar, also known as the Claw. The cutting process was performed by a system of pulleys, with the main element being a steel chain that was passed through the bottom of the ship. Thanks to the 2 engines, the chain could move back and forth at a speed of up to 2 meters per minute. This slow movement allowed the chain to cut and break everything in its path. However, it turned out that the cutting process was also highly dangerous. During one of the cuts, the remaining parts of the ship caught fire, and the flames engulfed the vehicles on board. Sometime later, during the dismantling of another section, there was a leakage of petroleum products, so the rescuers had to use absorbent materials to clean the water. One of the recent major accidents involving a RoRo ship occurred in the first half of 2022. The car carrier Felicity Ace that was traveling from Germany to the United States sank on March 1st near the Azores Islands. The cause of this tragedy was a fire that broke out in the cargo hold on February 16th. Attempts were made to extinguish the fire, but the situation was complicated by the fact that many vehicles on board the ship were equipped with lithium-ion batteries, which can ignite in an oxygen-depleted environment. The entire crew of 22 people was rescued, while 4,000 cars worth over $400 million sank to the bottom, including individually customized Lamborghini, Porsche, and Bentley vehicles. Despite such accidents, the RoRo ship market continues to grow. We can safely assume that transportation companies will continue to seek ways to increase the capacity of these ships by developing new models or upgrading the existing ones. However, it is important to remember that this type of vessel is very complex, both in terms of construction and operation, so any mistake can lead to disastrous consequences. Well, that's all for today, friends. Like the video if you found it interesting, share your thoughts in the comments, let me know if you learned something new, and see you next time.